Hey everybody, welcome to episode 8 of Let's Play Kerbal Space Program 0.90. We're going to get our career continued. Okay, when we last left off, we had amassed ourselves about 84,000 Kerbucks, or funds as they're called. We can't afford any other upgrades, nor do we have quite enough science to unlock any other nodes, so it's time for us to just see if we can't go and find a way to make some money. So, let's take a look at the missions we have available. Science data from space around Kerbin. We want you to send us science data from space around Kerbin. This is worth a lot of money, and any science will do, and we know that we have that new new scientific tool. So we're going to go ahead and grab that right now. We could always perform a visual survey. I think it might be time for us to do a rescue mission of another Kerbin. That's going to give us a bunch of cash. Yeah, that's going to be a pretty decent cash injection. And we'll also be able to go over how to do rendezvous. So I'm going to accept that contract. So we have science data from space around Kerbin. We want you to send us science data from space around Kerbin. And rescue Tanvin Kerman, who is stuck in low Kerbin orbit. Return him safely to Kerbin. Okay. So it's time to go build us a rocket that's capable of doing just that. So one thing I just remembered in the science building is that I wanted to pick up a couple of more parts that I hadn't actually paid for yet. Let me double check all my other nodes. Yeah, alright. So now that I have a cash injection, we're going to spend 4,600 funds to pick up the small inline reaction wheel as well as the Stay Putnik Mark 1. We'll grab those, close this, and now it's time to go and build us a rocket that's capable of doing this stuff. Okay, Estes 6. Estes 6. So we need one of these guys. Not one of those guys. One of these Command Pod Mark 3s. Whoa, looks like I've already got one sitting here. Alright. They stay Putnik. And for command and control, a small inline reaction wheel. This gives our ship additional torque. So basically, now that, let's take a look here. Let's take a look. The Stay Putnik actually, it gives us a probe body, which means we can control the craft without a pilot, but it doesn't actually have any autopilots available. I think, let's see here, the command and control. No, that just gives us extra torque. I don't think we're going to need it. Put that right there. Okay. We're going to need a bunch of parachutes to land this thing, I can tell, because it'll be more massive than what I'm used to. So, that's an utility. We grab 3 of these guys. Well, maybe 2 of these. I guess we're doing 2. Like so. We need to attach a battery. Just one. That should be plenty. Because all we're doing is stuff around Kerbin. At least I think it'll be plenty. We'll find out. If we have a problem, we can always deorbit it. And science. So we have this new Science Junior. Now, I could take some mystery goo into space. I don't think that we would actually benefit from doing so. And we don't need any communitrons or anything. Yeah. So now we need to actually build this rocket that's going to be going to space. Oop. Fuel tanks. This guy, this guy, this guy, engines, one of these guys, and boosters. Booster there. Near a booster here. Bring it up a little bit. And we still don't have any capability of actually standing this rocket up. Okay. So I do want... How many parts do I have right now? 17. Okay, I've got plenty of parts available. I am going to go here and give myself just a little bit more with a little bit of engine. And the reason for that is that this guy can then maneuver better in and around orbit in order to get the rescue done, basically. I am, however, going to, since I'm doing that, oh, I can just do this. Put another one here. Whoa. Don't need symmetry on for that. Attach a battery back here. Attach the other battery here. And we're good to go. Okay, that's stage 6. We're going to be able to get new science with this Science Junior. And we'll probably go ahead and just do that in orbit to complete this contract. So we got transmit or recover science data from space around Kerbal. Yeah, we're going to launch it. Okay, so I went back to the vehicle assembly bay and got rid of Jeb. He's not actually going to fly this mission. We're using a very little bit of electrical charge because the probe's here. Yep. We don't have any SAS because there's no pilots aboard. But that's okay, we're going up to grab ourselves a Kerbal who's in orbit here. What I'm actually going to do is get him in a better position to actually meet him in orbit, because if I orbit a million times trying to catch up to him, I'll end up wasting electrical charge and eventually run out, and that would be bad. So I'm going to head over to the tracking station and fast forward time. Okay, so here we are in the tracking station. We're just going to let this sort of fast forward. I want to get him to right about here, I think. And then we can launch. Something about like that should do. We'll go ahead and fly this vessel. Hopefully it's still got electrical charge left. It does. It's been sitting on the pad. Okay. No SAS. We'll go ahead and quick save just in case. And without much more ceremony, he's in a nice circular orbit at 84,000 meters, it looks like. So we should have no problem making that orbit with what we have here. Let's punch it up. Get underway. I have to fly this the hard way, so you'll hear my keys tapping away. And you saw on the map, I did wait till a little bit until he was kind of in a better position to make with the rendezvous, and I'll show you why that's the case later on. I want this to face a little bit more this way, please. Thank you. Next stage. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We have a problem. I'm going to revert it to launch. So those of you, or actually I'm going to revert it to the vehicle assembly. Those of you who are hardcore players are probably, you know, screaming at me for my cheatiness. Yeah, all the staging got royally effed up. This needs to be here, in its own stage. Okay, from the bottom. First stage is that. Next stage is this guy. Next we have this, and then we have the last little guy, and then we have that in the parachutes for recovery. Okay, let's try this one more time. Make sure I have my crew out of the... Yes, I do. And that's what I get for not checking my staging. So we're finally all set here. Up we go. I'm going to tip over a little bit towards the 90-degree angle, and what that will do is encourage sort of gravity to do its own thing and help pull the rocket over as we make our way up through the atmosphere. I don't want to go too much over, though. Alright, we're picking up decent speed. I'm liking how this rocket's working so far. Should be able to get this thing all the way up into orbit. So I'm just watching my orbit ball, trying to keep myself going as vertically as I can. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and try and crank this over to more verticalness. And I do have to be careful because that does use up electrical charge to do so. Okay, and we're gaining some nice speed. Those boosters have gotten us up at out of the sort of the thickest part of the atmosphere, and this rocket motor gives us electrical charge, so our battery is going to be recharged the entire time we're headed up here. Excuse me. And I'm going to back off the throttle just a little bit. I don't want to get going too fast against terminal velocity. Okay, so now at 12,000 feet I can kind of start letting my rocket sort of fall over naturally. And by about 15,000 meters, we're going to flip over to orbit mode and just let our rocket sort of naturally tip itself over until it's along this prograde marker in orbit mode, and I've done that by clicking on here. So now I'm actually thrusting in the direction of my orbit with respect to Kerbal. Go to map, bring up our controls. And we'll go ahead and kick in full throttle and watch as our apoapsis gets up to height. Can I not click on the flag? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Looks like this stage has plenty of juice for this job. We're going to get this up to 85,000 meters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And cut the engines. And let's see how we're doing. Yeah, we still have liquid fuel in the tank for circularization. Hopefully it's enough. If nothing else, at the very least we're going to be getting science from space near Kerbal, so that's really relatively easy. While we're here, I'll see if I can't get any more mystery goo stuff going on. It's worth 2.1 science, which is better than 0. As we climb on up here, I'm going to take a sip of water. Once we get closer to the horizon, where our prograde marker is nearly level with the horizon, actually, we'll kick on these main motors again and do our best to circularize. We are officially in space, which means we can do some of our science. That will complete our contract. I'm going to observe the materials bay while we're here. And that's going to give us 25 science if we manage to recover this vessel. We are rapidly approaching our apoapsis of 85,000 meters. We are going to be orbiting for a while. We'll wait for this guy to come around. Dang it. Hopefully I have enough juice. So I reverted the launch, and I forgot to set it up for when the... I forgot to fast forward time on the pad. Oh well. And I think right about now is probably good for the rest of this burn. Just aim it on the horizon. Hopefully get ourselves into orbit with the fuel that we have remaining. If not, it'll be really close. Okay, that's all the fuel we have. So boom. Whoa, this thing is touchy. Wow, this fuel's getting used up really fast. We probably need to build a bigger rocket. We have the parts for it. Or the parts allowance for it, I should say. Yep, we are definitely going to need to build a bigger rocket. Alright. Okay, so we did all of that launch and found that this thing wasn't quite capable of doing what I wanted to do. So we're going to make it bigger. Now I'm pretty sure this single booster is no longer going to do the trick. So we have radial decouplers. What I'm going to do is set up a 2x2 set of staging here for these things. So 2 boosters. Zoom in. Like that. Aerodynamics. Grab these things. Hey, that's a control surface. That'll be really helpful. Excellent. Alright. 2 more of these guys. And for the sake of giving us more control authority in the atmosphere while those things are going, we'll do that. So I'm going to actually set these up for sort of a 2x2 setup here. I have to sneeze. That's those ones. Those ones fire. Then they decouple and those guys fire. And they decouple and the main engine fires. And then the main engine decouples and this little guy fires, which should have enough, hopefully by then, enough juice for us to fly around. Something's bitching at us. What do we got here? 34 parts. Too many parts. We will just have to go with that. I guess it's 28 parts. $27 parts. If only I could get rid of 1 part. Pretty sure I need this extra bit of fuel for the mission I'm after. I need that battery for the probe body. That's gonna have to be the way it goes. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. It turns out there was too much content to pack into a single video, so be sure to click here to watch the next part of this multi-part episode. Goodbye!